Okay, to get started, there's 3 gates in there. One has a button on it. That's basically the button you push against when you put it in reverse. So that one, just slide it halfway forward. I can't really show it. Alright, just take off the cover bolts first. And with this in halfway between neutral and reverse, it should just pop off. Pretty sure it's supposed to be halfway between neutral and reverse. Alright, so I didn't have it quite in the right position. I just needed to slide it a little bit more forward. And whenever you put it right there halfway in between neutral and reverse, it does come right off. Alright, to make your life easier, there's a bearing under here that you need to pull out. I know it's kind of getting out of order, but I don't have the right size socket to take the pinion off. So I just wanted to show this real quick. I think there's a groove somewhere. There it goes. It has a little groove right here. I remembered that. So this bearing needs to come out so that you can drop the counter shaft down. And there's one on the back too. If you pull those out, this can drop down about a ½ inch or so, or I guess that thickness, and that will allow you to pull the input shaft out way easier and also get everything apart. So you're going to have to pull this eventually anyway, so you might as well pull it now and make the rest of the job easier. Okay, I figured it out. That can grab it. It's not going to work. I'll be back again. I know this is not the proper way to use this tool, but I'm more interested in just getting it out. I wouldn't crank on this very hard. I'm really not, but well, see, I can do it. I'm not cranking on it hard because it is pulling at an angle. This is not the best setup, but these are not very tight. It's not even pressed. It's not a press fit. It's more like a tight fit. So look, just that was enough to start it on its way out. See, it's almost out already. Be careful not to. That's a pretty thick case. That ain't gonna break it. But if you have trouble, don't be doing that too much. I told you they're not that tight. It's just getting it to start to move. Okay, so now it's time to take off this piece that goes around the input shaft. I'm just using a ½ inch socket with my impact wrench. I think I stripped one of them, but whatever. So after you pull this off, the bearing has like a lock ring around that, which really doesn't matter. I didn't realize it at that point because you're pulling it out, not in, but that holds it in place. Either way, so I'm going to use my special pliers that I really actually bought just to do these transmissions. I use them later on too. And you have that one, and then around the bearing you have another one that I'm about to take off, which really doesn't matter at this point. I don't even know why I thought it did. At this point I'm going to put my bearing puller tool on it. I'd already started to move it out with just a pry bar and stuff. Just like the other one, this is not a press fit, but they do kind of fit tight and it kind of gets stuck. So I'm going to put this bearing removal tool on here, and I'm going to use a pry bar to start pulling it out. But you'll soon see that once I start prying on it, it's not coming out. You know what I mean? It's loose. It's actually loose. It's not really stuck in there anymore. And there's a position on the gears behind it where you can align it on the flat spot. And people think that's how it comes right out. I think on other 4-speeds, like some Saginaw 4-speeds and stuff like that, then it will come right out, but on these it does not. I actually watched a video earlier where some guy managed to get it out without dropping the counter shaft, but I don't know how he done that. It made me kind of question whether or not I know what I'm doing. But I can tell you this much. Either way, if you do take the back bearing off and the front bearing off of the counter shaft, and let that counter shaft drop down to about a 1/2 inch, it will come right apart. I will show that in a future video, but since I don't have the socket for the pinion nut, and I'm just gonna have to stop this video right here. You know, that's about all I could do for today. I'll probably delete this video and, you know, take the, you know, add to it and re-upload it to like the complete version. But either way, so as long as you take that back cover off right there, take the pinion off, take both bearings out of the counter shaft and drop it down, it'll make the disassembly way easier. I know this is not a complete video, but I kind of feel like as long as you know this much, the rest is pretty straightforward. These are the two little tricks that will hang you up on taking one of these apart. And maybe I'll get into some more things about the pressing apart the bearings, I mean the gears. You do have to use a press to take the gears off, even though some people say they're not exactly pressed on or whatever, but you kind of need a press to disassemble the main shaft. And right here I'm going to go ahead and try to show the gates that I'm talking about, which it's really hard to videotape down in that hole, but there's 3 little sliding things. I believe they're called gates. The one with the button has a little button thing. That's the one that is reverse. And if you slide it forward about halfway, that's how you take off the top cover. Well, anyway, if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe.